Hi, how's everyone today? It's Monday and it's a public holiday. Well, certainly here in Australia, as it's the King's birthday weekend. So how wonderful is that? It is freezing here today. So, it's been like this all week. It's been a unbelievable, not all week, unbelievable few days as it has really, really dropped. And being cold, I don't feel like doing a lot. I don't know about anybody else, but it's not easy when it's cold. And I better turn that off. So being cold and we've had wet weather, which, yes, a little bit of rain at last for the farmers, because believe me, they needed it badly. It is very dry and they need to get their crops in and so forth. So anyway, I'm Anita Mazzero. I'm a Stamping Up demonstrator from Horsham in Victoria, Australia, not to be confused with Horsham, England. If you're watching me on Facebook, you will see the live button if you're watching me live. If not, you're watching the replay. Or you might be watching the replay on YouTube. So please pop in and say hi. I would love you to let me know that you are watching. And, because it helps me and it helps you when we're interacting. Because I like to know whether you like what I'm doing. Because your feedback is everything that I do it for. And I hope that each time I give you something nice. Hello, Miss Jacinta. How are you? Do you still have the girls staying there with you or have they gone home? And what's the weather like in Rainbow? I always get an itchy nose when it's cold. I don't know why, but I do. But anyway, I don't think, as I was saying about the weather, I don't think over the last 3-4 days that the temperature has, the feel-like temperature has reached double figures. It has always been so cold. So, hello, Sharon. How nice to hear from you. What's it like where you are? Cold? Or is it nice? But yeah, so as I said, it's cold and I think it's hit us in a hurry and I haven't been prepared for it to be in a hurry. No way. But anyway, that's what happens. So what I might do is I might turn the camera around and show you about what is happening for the month of June in the Stamping Up world. So it's worth having a look at what's available for you, and I'd like to let you know. So anyone that's got any questions about anything that I show you or tell you, just let me know so that it would be that way. What was that, Jacinta? Oh, they've all gone home today. Oh, okay. And it is cold there in Rainbow. Hello, Glenda. How are you today? So, sorry, I have trouble reading. I've got the computer a little bit probably too far away for these blind old eyes that don't want to see too well. But anyway, we'll manage through that. So we'll go with that. So as I said, I'm going to flip the camera around and let's get stuck into it. Did I get it right? Whoops, what's happened there? It's been a bit silly. Hit the wrong button. Oh, well. Now I'll just zoom this in so that you can see what's going on. There we go. Right. One day they'll make technology a lot easier than what it is. And Facebook used to have it that I could set up the way I wanted it to turn and nothing changed. But now it does. And I haven't to this day worked out what I can do to change it. So for the month of June, we've got our annual catalogue out, of course, that came out last month. But for the month of June, Stamping Up have buy one, get one 50% off of all sweets and sweets products in the catalogue and our online store. I think that it's a great offer. Last week I thought it was sweets and I misread the product, you know, got to read these things properly. So, for instance, if you're interested in, say you like this suite, but you want just the paper, that's fine. So, and then you go, say, to this suite, but you might want a stamp set. The one that's the higher value will be your normal price. Your lower price one, which if I'm using the stamp set and the paper is the lower one, and that will be 50% off. And that is an amazing offer. 2 sets of paper, 50% off the second set. 2 sets of gems, 50% off. If it belongs in a suite, you can get it, as well as the whole suite. If you're buying 2 different suites, you get 50% off a second suite. But if, unfortunately, if any of the products within the suite are sold out, the offer is no longer available. So just to let you know that. There are lots and lots of suites. So when you go online and you click on hit suites, S-U-I-T-E-S, not sweets as in lollies. Hit that and it will show you all that's available. It will happen in your cart when you put it in. It will change in your cart before you go to the checkout. If it doesn't, do not go any further. Give me a call or give Stamping Up a call and check with them, because it may be that you might have thought the product was a sweet product, but it's not. So that's what it is. So while I've got this open, we have got at the back, and let me find it. I should have marked it. You know how you think you just, there it is. Look, I wasn't far away. You've got some pages of papers. This is papers that are available. Some belong to suites, some are standalone. So you've got plenty of pages. So that belongs to a suite. That belongs to a suite. The Totally Cute belongs to a suite. The Beautiful Gallery belongs to a suite. The Boho Vibes is a suite. But then over here, you will see all this page of Designer Series paper. And this paper is in colour families. So you've got your in colour, both in colour for the current season and last season. It's like the 24 to 26, the 25 to 27. Then you've got your brights, your neutrals, your regals and your subtles. And these are 6x6 papers. And I'll just pull out, I've got the in colour ones, just to give you an example. So you'll get a sheet of the flowers, and that is the reverse. This is the Secret Sea. Then you have a sheet with leaves and a sheet of stripes. So I'll continue flipping through them because there's the Timid Tiger. So you get 2 patterns and 4 sheets of each. So there's plenty to do. There's the cloud cover. And Darling Ducklings. So same pattern on all of them. And Strawberry Slush, which is this and this and this and that. Today, I am using this particular piece of paper. Now, I have pre-cut all those flowers because there is no die, so you do need to fussy cut them out. Didn't take very long. But as I was fussy cutting them, I realised that there is no 2 flowers, or at least I didn't pick up, there's no 2 flowers identical. So I had this card in mind and I thought, oh, but it doesn't matter. No flowers in the garden are identical. So we're going to use this. So that's what I've got there. Now I'll just reach over for my stuff, moved it out of the way so that it wouldn't get lost. I'm also going to use the Layered Thoughts stamp set for my sentiment. And I've got, oh sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera, the Impressions Abloom, and I'm using the dies from the Impressions Abloom. Oh, that's a mouthful. So, got some great dies in here, some flowers, some leaves, little tiny flowers, and then we've got another lot down here, which is the ovals. So I'm not using the ovals. I'm using these flat, like stems, and this leaves, and these. I have done a lot of the pre-cutting for you, so that just to save a little bit of time, but I'm going to show you what I've done. Then I've used the damask embossing folder, and don't you love that? It is the most beautiful folder. And then I've gone and got the Everyday Arches dies. Now these dies are layered. They are, for a long time I was calling them the layered arches, but they weren't the layered. They are layered, but they're not. So for this one card that we're doing today, I'm using 1, 2 and 3 of the largest. So first, second and third. And I'll need the big one out because we're going to do one so I can show you how I did it. And pop them all back. And I'll move all them out of the way for now. So I've got a piece of A4 cardstock, 21 by 14.9, and I've scored it at 10.5. Hello Cherry, how are you today? So I'm going to fold that in half. And I'm going to do our card. And I've done that one the wrong way. I did that last time. Now, cut that just before we come on air, so that was really smart of me. And there's the other piece. So that won't work anyway. So we'll cut that out. Just goes to prove I'm human. So it is a tent card. So it's 10.5. So we've got our 21 centimetres piece of paper up there. We're going to score it at 10.5. And did I fold that wrong again? And I did. Oh, heavens above. What is with me today? Cold weather. Let's blame the cold weather. Because... So take your cardstock. We'll try again. And we will turn that at 14.9. Then score. I bet you're frozen. It's just the same here too. So I'm going to fold that in half. And voila, I've got it right. So this die measures 10 centimetres. So I'm going to cut this at 10.5. Pop that in there at 10.5. Just to make sure I've got plenty of room. And I'm going to trim it. 3 takes of doing that. I then cut a piece of basic grey in the second to largest and a piece of strawberry slush in the third to largest die, and I've embossed this in the beautiful damask embossing folder. So to cut our card, the reason I didn't do it in advance, which meant you wouldn't have seen me making those stupid mistakes, like how ridiculous is that? Take my plates. So I've got my number 1 plate, my number 2 plate, one number 3 plate. I'm going to take my die. So I'm going to turn this a bit of an angle. I hope you can all see this. It's on a bit of an angle. I'm going to place my die, but this cutting edge will butt against the fold of the card. So I'm not cutting that area. I want this area cut because this is going to be our card. So make sure it doesn't move, keeping it nice and flat. And then I'm just going to run that through. And having it on a slight angle means that it's not going to crunch and make noises when it goes through. Now take the card. So as you can see, just pulled it apart. There's the card. Get rid of this. Now what we're going to do is, because it's got the stitching around, I just give it a little bit of a fold to break that stitching up so that we can open the card. And that will be our card. So we're going to have a fold like so. It's going to open like that. I'll pop that out of the way so I don't lose it. So just thought these arches make for something very, very different in a card. So I'm going to just lay this one here nice and even around, but I found that it fits closer to the edge. And you can move it up slightly just to give it a little bit of a border at the side there. So I'm just going to get my Tombow for this. And make sure that you have the right side, because that stitching goes down into it. If you have it up, it's the wrong side. That's the side that you glue. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to take that. And I didn't want you to watch me fussy cutting all day today, because cut that in place, making sure it's nice and even. So I've got that down. Then I'm going to stick this down before I put anything on it, because I need to make sure that it matches and fits the card, because it's not your usual shape card. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals in place. Put one there. Make sure it's nice and secure. So can never have too many dimensionals, can we? Hello, Leanne. How are you? That book is going in the mail tomorrow. I haven't been up near the post office, so that's why you haven't received it yet. Now, with embossing, be careful when you lift, because I don't know if you saw that, but when I went to lift the dimension, it tried to lift. Just be careful when you do that. What's it like down your way, Leanne? Have you got rain? Because the weather map this morning was showing that you guys were going to be getting a lot of rain. Right, we're going to lay that inside this arch. Now, who would have thought basic grey and strawberry slush would go together? I was surprised when I played with it, because to me, I would not have put that together, but I like it. I really, really like it. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of colouring. So I've got 2 of these leaves, and then I've got these stalks, I suppose you would call it, for the flowers. And I'm going to take, and I get my blends, and I cut some flowers out, which I'll show you on a scrap. What I did with this, I've used the strawberry slush, and then I got the thick end of my blend, and I went and coloured and allowed that to dry, and then I die cut. And when I die cut, let's get these little flowers out, the colour is a little bit darker. So depending on which way they're sitting, it's just a bit darker. So when you put it against the strawberry slush, even though they're both strawberry slush, there's just a change in the colour. And this is something you can do with a lot of the basic colours that you're using. Just adding a bit of colour can change it around. You can have it more of a mottled look or whatever, but because these flowers were so tiny, I just coloured all of it and then die cut it out. So I thought I'd better show you that before I forget, because I spotted the blends when I grabbed these. Right, we'll pop that one away so I don't lose it. So what I'm going to do with these is we're going to give them a little bit of colour. So I'm going to take my dark Lost Lagoon, and all I did was just put a little bit of colour at the bottom, come down the stem, a little bit of colour in here, come down the stem, a little bit of colour, down the stem, popped a little bit of colour. Then I've got the light Lost Lagoon, and I've gone over it, but I've just extended it a little bit, just a bit. Keep going over all where I put the dark, and then just added the light. Now you need to be extremely careful with this die cut because it is very fragile. It can break. And I didn't go all the way, as you can see there, and I'll let that dry. So just coming up, picking up the bottom, come up there, comes through there, picking up the colour, just like so there. So I've got the dark there. I'm going to come with the light, just extending it, not going all the way, just giving it, so that this particular piece of Lost Lagoon is actually changing colour. So you can see as it's drying, it's giving it different colours and different effects on the stem. Now this one, I'm just going to take the dark, and I'm just going to add a little bit of dark on this one where it joins. And I'm going to put a little bit on this one because it will be crossing over. So I'm just going to put it down like that. Just enough to give it a bit of colour. So I'm going to pop these. Make sure I've got them in your sight, because I'm very good at wandering off the camera, going where I'm comfortable. I've got that, and I'm going to sit that like so. I'm going to take my glue, and for this, all I'm going to do is put a dot of glue, because we'll have plenty covering it. I'm just putting a dot of glue at the top, and that was way too much. So I'm just going to take a little bit off for that one, and again for that one. So don't throw it away if you think it's too much. We're going to place that one just at the top there, place that down, and then this one's going to go on a bit of an angle like so. Just going to put them like that. Now these leaves I'll use afterwards. So I'm going to take my die cut pieces, and I'm going to sort out, because you will see some of the pieces are darker shading than the other. So I'm just going to pop that in, because I want to work out where I want the flowers and which flowers I want. I'm going to pop them, because you've got different sizes. Yeah, I think I like that. And I've also made sure I cut all the end bits, because we're going to use them. Okay, So before we go any further with that, I'm going to take my piercing mat, pop them on there. And I'm going to take a little, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a centre. Just create the centre in the middle, where the flower is. Just going to allow it to curl up, just to give it a bit of curl in the middle. Then I'll take my bone folder, and just because these are not dies doesn't mean we cannot make the flowers interesting. You have designer series paper, let's use it. So I'll do that with all of them. Just turn the petals to create that look. Give that effect so it's giving it a nice, and then just give it some shape. Just bend it with your hands if you need to, especially these ones that have got the 4 petals. You can really manipulate them. And then I went and got a small dimensional and popped on the back of each of them. Just put a small dimensional on the back, basically where we marked the centre of the flower. I'm going to take the dimensionals off. And stick them to myself. So pop that one just in there, but you need to make sure that you don't go over your card. I've got that just up there so it's matching the top of the card. And this one I'm going to have just down here. And then the third one I will pop over here. Again, making sure it doesn't go over the top. Then I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to put a tiny dab of glue in the centre. Now, you know these flowers that I told you about? I'm going to pop them in the centre, just to make it a little bit different to what it was on the paper. So as I said, designer series paper can allow you to do so much. Oops, come back here. Pop that just in place. So there's the centres of the flowers. Now what I want to do is I want to add the leaves. Now I can pop the leaves like so, and then the second one I'm looking at where I can place them. So I'm going to grab my snips and just trim, and I can pop one in there just to give a look. I'm just going to place them at the moment. I'm not using any glue, anything to disrupt. So I reckon I could put that one, I'll make that one go that way, and then this one can just tuck in and go that way, and then that one we can pop up in here, just like so. I think that will work. Okay, so when you've worked out where you want them, the easiest thing, I might just take a little bit off that because it's not going to be shown. And once again, be very sparing with your glue because it's got these little slits in the bottom. I found that the glue will ooze everywhere. So I'm just going to gently lift that flower and pop that leaf so it looks like it's coming off that branch. Just gently pop it on. Trim this one up a little bit more because it's a little bit out of shape. And once again, I'm just going to pop the tiniest amount of glue. And don't do that. Don't drop it on anything. Have the flower. I could have put the leaves down before I put the flowers, but I found that doing that, for me personally, was very difficult. I just found it hard to properly see where the flowers were finishing and ending. So, oh, excuse me. Right, I'm going to take this one. And I want that one to sort of come pretty much like so. Oh, that'll be right. Get the coughs now. And then with this one, I actually might cut it down as well. So I'm just going to take that one off and come like so in there. I'm just going to build that up. Oh, I've had this idea for using the arches as a card for a while because right from when I saw the arches, I thought, oh, they'd make a great card shape, something a bit different. Just popping that in there. And then I've got a single one here, and I might just pop it over the other side. Trim that back a bit. And I can guarantee you, I've made a couple of these now, and none of them are the same. So it just depends on where you place them, how they go, when they go down. I'll just pop that there, allow it to stick. So you can see why I didn't stick the very fine stems, because once you start putting your flowers in, it changes. I'll leave that on there. I'm going to put this away for the moment because I'll get the flowers for the inside. Now what I've done is I've gone and stamped from the Layered Thoughts. I've stamped Thank You. So I've got the pieces here. So I'm just going to, and I've fussy cut them. And as I said, I did all this so that you didn't have to see and wait, because this took a bit of time. So I fussy cut the word thank and the you. So what I want to do is I'm going to lay the words, and I've personally found laying the words out, and especially the letters where you're wanting them to go, to do that before you glue them. Because they have a right and a wrong way. I'll pop that in there. And that goes in there. And then my N goes the other way. Fits in there. Like so. And then the K. No, that's not right. I'm not happy with that. Must be that way. Yep, there it is. There's the right way. So there's the word thank, and I'm going to pop the word you just like so. But I'm going to put them on dimensionals. So what I'm going to use is the edges of my dimensional sheet. Just put the glue back on this, because that really helps in making sure that you've got them fitted all right. Now, I'm just going to cut a thin strip from the edge. Does anyone else do this with their dimensionals? Because I don't waste any of it. I use it wherever I can. So I'll just work out where I want it. take the backing off. And you'll be able to feel the difference because the backing is quite firm. It's more like a light cardstock. So pop that in, making sure it's sitting straight. And so it's a quick card, but the time was the fussy cutting, and I thought, you all know how to fussy cut. I'm sure you do. And I'm sure you didn't want to be watching me fussy cut all the flowers and the letters, etc. So I'm going to take the backing off, the other piece off. Just lift that off. And then I'm going to place the T where I worked out I wanted to start my word. So it's going to start just in there. And then just go along and start putting your tape down. So this will be fiddly. You're going to see the fiddly part, which, you know, I've tried to avoid a bit of that for you, because it's a bit like watching paint dry. There we go. So what's everyone been up to this weekend, apart from being freezing cold? It certainly hasn't been warm, but for the farmers it was so nice to see the welcome change of the rain, because it was pretty dire for them. They need more. You know, I think we had about 16 to 18 mils here. I don't know about you, Jacinta and Cherry, what you had up your way. But we know it's not enough for the farmers. They need a lot more. I'll just pop my H in there. So as you can see, I'm keeping the letters pretty much stable on the card so that I can see where to place them, because placement is important. The A allows me for using, and put it the right way, allows me to use mini dimensionals because it has enough room, but the others, I just felt that it needed to have the strips. So I've just got some in there. And these letters were very simple to cut, to fussy cut, because they are very straightforward and they look fabulous. It's a great little set, this one. I'm surprised how much I do like it because of the fact that it's so straightforward. I'm just taking another strip off here. And by cutting it into a strip, I can see how long I want it before I cut it around. Just lift it off. Okay, got that. Pop that in place. You had 26 mils, Cherry. You had a lot more than what we got copped. So isn't it interesting how the rain, when it decides to fall, how different it can be from, you know, an hour away to, it's unusually how it's so different. But the farms up there, I hope they got the rain and got good dosages of rain. You were playing cards on Friday night. Or am I reading that wrong? Jerry, correct me if I'm playing cards. It sounds like fun. Pop that in there. And I'm down to the last one, and I think I can use some dimensionals on this as well. So that's thick enough. Yep. Pop some little dimensionals. When the letters are thick enough that you can put the little minis, by all means use the minis. Less work than cutting strips up. Put those all there. Take them. Put them in my little weeder. It's amazing how much this little container holds. I emptied it out yesterday because of the garbage, and I was surprised how much I had there. Okay, so there's my thank, and now I'm going to get the U, and I've got these little pieces of half a mini dimensional. So have I cut those? Yep, I have. So I'm just going to take them and place them where they'll fit. I'll have to trim that one a little bit because it's just a little bit too big. So if you find that you put dimensionals on and they're a little bit long, just trim them back. Just trim them back, but you don't want them showing. So I'll take that off and take the backs off. And because they're tiny, it has its own little mind, doing its own thing. And we'll just grab this, and I'll pop that like so. So I've black embossed that, just to remind you what I've done, and it created that look. Now I'm going to use this little yellow, little yellow, oh my goodness, where's my head? I'm going to put some more of these flowers around because I want this to have a lot of flower look. So I'm going to get my glue, and I'm just going to pop a little dot of glue. I might place 3, I think we'll place 5. It's still an uneven number, I think. Okay, 5. Take my flowers, pop them on. Make sure I've got them the right side because we want the colour, so the side that I coloured to be the, come on, there it is. I want them to be the colour. Pop that in place, just like so. It just adds another dimension to the, let's move these so that I don't lose them because they are very tiny. Then I've dug out the party dots. Hello Lucia, how are you today? Did Janice arrive? So I'm just going to use the small party dots in the yellow, and I'm just going to pop them in the centre of these little flowers. I'm going to use the small ones just on these ones I've got scattered around. Pop them there. Just give them a bit of a look. Pop that there. And then I'm going to take the larger ones for the centres of the flowers, because that will help pop the flowers to make that flower the centrepiece of the card. So there's my front. Now I'm going to get my Winker Stella, and I'm just going to flick some Wink over the card, just to give it a bit of sparkle, because, you know, girl needs sparkle. And I didn't check this before I went on, but I've just got the, and I'm pretty sure it might be still available, it's the yellow ribbon that came with the Beautiful Wishes, that beautiful flower bundle. So I'm just going to make a double bow, not an over big one, but just one. Get that looking right. Get my snips. And pop that through to make the knot. Not got that right. I've done that very uneven. No, she didn't. And you still haven't started. Oh, but it doesn't matter, just Lucia. I know you, even if you're doing it on the fly tonight, it'll still be a beautiful card. 1, 2. I hope I haven't cut this too short now. Came up and I went round just a fraction too early. I had 3 loops instead of 4, and 3 loops is not a double bow. Okay, got that nice and secure in there. And then I'm going to get a glue dot, good old-fashioned glue dots. I never used to use them until I started watching Lucia. She uses them all the time. Anita here stared at them. That's all I ever seem to have done, but now I use them quite frequently. So I'm just going to put the bow in here where all the stems and the leaves were intersecting. I'm just going to pop that like so. And there's the outside of the card. So for an unusual card, if I grab my paper again, and you have a look, that was the paper that we took the flowers from. And it just goes to show that grabbing a piece of the designer series paper can certainly change the outlook of the card. Okay, what I'm going to do on the inside now, because we've got to finish the inside. So on the inside, I'm going to take all these pieces out. I've got these little pieces down here. Let's have a look at some. Some are bigger than others, of course. And I'm going to just create, have a look at what I've got, what I can create. Oh, I like that one. I think I might take those too. So I'll take those. And I'll pop a bit of glue behind them. Just so that they stick, but not all over, because I'm going to cut some leaves up. And then just a little bit. I didn't do anything about making them raised because we've got them on the inside of the card. So I'll do what I did with the previous leaves. Oh, should have done it before, but I didn't think I was going to use it, but I did. So just come in with the dark Lost Lagoon down the stem, across. We're just giving it a bit of colour at the base. Start with the dark, then come in with the light. Extend it through by going over the cardstock, over the dark, but we're not using the tips, so we're going to keep it going through and just allowing that to go. So that'll be my leaves. I'm going to work out how I want these in here. And the beauty of these is they are a versatile leaf because you can cut them to suit what you want to do. Just trim that little end off. Make sure you get the right side. Don't do like I've done. Nearly put glue on the wrong side. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to lift where I didn't put glue and pop a leaf. And I'm just going to trim these, straighten that up a little bit, pop a little bit of glue. And we've got the leaves on the front, so we've got to have some leaves on the inside. Pop another one just under there. And I think we'll use one more. Take that off there. We need to continue it like the front. Yeah, the leaves are... I must admit, since I've had the Impressions Abloom, the leaves in this set are just amazing to use because they're brilliant. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue for our flowers and I'm just going to pop a couple around as well. Got plenty cut out, so, you know, why waste them? And we just pop them in place. Like so. Now if you want to, you can stamp another sentiment on the inside. It's up to you. I usually leave it open because it depends on who I'm giving it to, what I want it to say. I wish I could be like some people that can write beautifully. And of course, got to put a little bit of wink in here. We just splatter a little bit of wink. Not worried that it's gone on this side. And so there we are. So this card will sit quite flat on your cardstock. My previous one that I made, I curled the flowers up. This one I curled the flowers down. So as you can see, they look different. I did 3 of them and they all turned out different. This reminds me of an orchid. You know those orchids that you see in the shops? In the pot, the long thin stem, they're all in a row. Exactly the same for all 3 cards, but they're different. It all goes on placement. So you can have a play and have a go with the papers that have got the flowers in colour or the colour family's DSP. It's such a great little card to play with, I think, anyway. So by colouring your piece of strawberry slush with your dark strawberry slush, it actually gives the flowers a slightly darker look. And if I had just cut them and put them on top of here, they would have just disappeared. You would have just seen the blend on it. So you can go and do whatever you wish with them and create the cards, but having something unique in this particular fold is definitely something that I think the recipient will thoroughly enjoy because it is a completely different card when you've got this unusual shape of a card. Thank you, Leanne. I thought they were. I mean, the idea came to me about 2 o'clock in the morning one night when I wasn't sleeping very well. And I just thought, well, let's do something with the arches because apart from laying them on a card like so, I thought, let's do it this way. I'm pretty sure, and I never thought, yep, look, I could even, oh no, I don't think it would stand too well because it wobbles. So no, I was thinking the other way as a tent fold, but no. Thank you, Cherry. So, as I said, it was a simple card, but the effects, and by using your blends, you could use your daubers, you could use your, but to just change the colour of the original cardstock. Thank you, Glenda. I'm glad you like it. But as I said, very simple little card, but as I said, I spent probably, 15, 20 minutes cutting out all the flowers out of the sheet of 6x6 DSP, and then the rest just off I went, and taking the letters, embossing them and cutting around them makes for a great card. So I hope you like it. If you try it, please pop it on my page. I would love to see what you do, because I've enjoyed making it, and yeah, it's different, and that's what I like about it. So this is a different way of using your arches, and let's face it, we purchase these products and sometimes we can get stayed in the way we use them, and this is a way of doing something completely different. And as I said, the basic grey, I would never have thought that would have gone with the strawberry slush, but I'm actually happy with it. I could have even used the yellow, but the flower, I have started with the grey and I continued, and my brain is thinking, oh well, I could put a bit of yellow behind it, just to give it a bit of a different look, and a different type of green for the leaves. So again, you're still using the same flowers, and you can see by these cards how different they have turned out, yet the technique has been exactly the same. So I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week, and I thank you all for watching, and have a great week, and I hope you can keep warm. So bye for now, and thank you everyone for watching.